Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing my favorite contemporary reads of 2017 video. As I said in some of the other videos, I had to cheat even more than usual this year because I read a lot of books and I couldn't narrow it down any more than this. I have a video with 8 debut books, I have a video with 10 sci-fi and fantasy books, and I have a video, this video, with 10 contemporary books. So without further ado, here we go. The first book on this list is Girl Against the Universe by Paula Stokes. This was a book that I read very early on in the year. It might have even been in January. It follows a girl who is struggling with anxiety, and this was just so relatable to me, and I loved this book so much that I actually made its own video review for it. So if you want to hear like my full thoughts and everything, I believe it's spoiler free. I'll put a link to it down below, but this one just really spoke to me. Next on my list is The Long Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a political thriller. It's so good. I really liked the first book. This is the second book in the series, but this second book was so much better than the first book. I really liked going back into this world. I really love Tess as a main character. She's so strong and independent, and she has amazing skills of deduction, and just watching her solve all of these other people's problems and all of these people who lean on her, it was so exciting. And I'm devastated that there's no third book that is planned in the series, because I believe when she signed on for the deal, she only signed on for 2 books, but the way that this one ends will like kill you. You need a third book, and while normally I could see why people wouldn't want to read the first 2, having an ending like that and feeling crushed, I would say that it is completely worth it. It's such a good series, and it's very different from any other YA series that I have read, so I highly recommend it, and I really hope that you will read the first 2 books, because then maybe we could get a third book if enough people read it. Number 3 on my list is Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. This is one that I read very recently. It follows a girl named Claudia. She gets roped into helping her school put on a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's about her kind of branching out and making new friends and forging new relationships. I really loved this so much. The whole book was delightful, and I laughed throughout the entire thing. I was actually sad when it ended because I just wanted to read more of it because it was just making me so happy. I felt like all of the characters were so real. They all had these such distinct personalities that it was very easy to fall in love with them. I loved Iris, I loved Gideon, I loved Claudia. I just thought the whole thing was so well done and so brilliantly written, and Emma Mills has not disappointed me yet, and I love this book, and that's why it's on my list. Next on my list is Alix Approximately by Jen Bennett. This is a You've Got Mail retelling, and it follows a girl who moves across the country to California, and it's the place where this guy that she's been talking to on this movie app lives, but she doesn't tell him that she moved there. She gets a job at a museum, which is where he happens to work. The 2 of them form this relationship, but meanwhile she's still kind of searching for this mystery man, and it's so cute. It's a hate to love relationship. They like cannot stand each other at first. It's super adorable. I really liked it. I thought that it touched upon a lot of subject matter that is often like skirted around in YA. Bailey was a really mature character for her age. I also loved that she had a penchant for dressing like in the styles of old Hollywood and wearing like 50s dresses and stuff. And the California backdrop to the story was also really good. This definitely was a standout for me in 2017. Next on my list is My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. This is the first Huntley Fitzpatrick book that I have ever read, and I cannot believe that I waited so long to read her books. I'm really looking forward to reading the other 2 of hers that I already own. It follows a girl named Samantha whose mother is kind of obsessed with being like proper and perfect. Sam has always had all of these rules and restrictions, and her mother cannot stand these next door neighbors that they have who are the cutest people in the world. They have a huge family and things are always kind of chaotic there, and Sam always watches them from her roof, and then she ends up developing a relationship with one of the boys, which she keeps secret from her mother because she would be in so much trouble if her mom found out. And I just thought that it was really cute, and whoa, was there something that happened in there toward the end that was very complicated. It was not at all what I was expecting, and it was really, really difficult to imagine like putting yourself in her situation, but I really enjoyed it. I thought the writing was really powerful. Next on my list is My Not So Perfect Life by Sophie Kinsella. I think this is the only novel on this list that is technically like new adult, because it follows a girl who has graduated college and she gets her dream job in London. She is just determined to make her life work there despite how imperfect everything is and how difficult it is for her. She always puts on like a sunnier disposition, and she always kind of fabricates the truth to her parents and to all of her Instagram followers because she wants everyone to think that she has this fabulous life, but things are really hard for her. She just wishes that she could be as put together as her boss, and there's a lot of really funny things that happen throughout this book. This is probably one of the books that made me laugh the most that I read this year. I really liked seeing all of like the workplace drama. I felt like that was more relatable for me because I, work. Overall, I just really enjoyed this one. If you have not yet read this one, I definitely suggest picking it up. Next on my list is Karela by Ashley Poston. This is a Cinderella inspired story, and it involved cosplay and a convention, and it was so good. This was just probably one of the sweetest romances that I read this year, and the way that the main character Elle felt about this fandom, which is Starfield, is exactly the way that I feel about Star Wars. So I was so into this, and I love that she like ran a fandom website for Starfield. It was so good. It's definitely not the most believable story, but it's so great. And I love the parallels to Cinderella. I love that there was like a pumpkin food truck that she worked at. I thought it was so cute and so well done, and I cannot wait to read more of Ashley Poston's books. Next on my list is The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I think that Becky just totally nails the way that teenagers talk. I feel like she just really understands them. She's really in touch with them. Every time that she writes a book, I feel like those characters are real people that I would see out in the world. They're so endearing. I love Molly, who's the main character, and she is this like adorable Pinterest obsessed girl who has had 26 crushes and 0 of them have been requited. She has a twin sister who gets a girlfriend, and then it just becomes the topic of conversation how Molly has never had a relationship, and her sister starts really like pushing her into some different situations. I thought that Molly was such a great, kind-hearted person, and I really loved reading from her perspective. This was just so enjoyable, and Reed is like the cutest boy ever, and he loves Cadbury mini eggs, and I love Cadbury mini eggs, so that also added to the experience. I just love this book so much. I'm sure that you all have heard everyone just sing its praises. Next is Always and Forever Lara Jean by Jenny Han. This is the third and final book in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series, and I loved this book so much. It is definitely my favorite one in the series. Just seeing the character arcs from book 1 to book 3 and seeing how much Lara Jean has matured and grown as a character, that really made this as enjoyable as it was. Kitty is still the most awesome snarky little sister character in any book ever. I cannot wait to see the movie adaptation of this. These books just make me so happy. I am planning on rereading them in 2018. They really just make me smile, and I love the way that Jenny Han writes. I just like eat it up like cake. Next on my list is The Names They Gave Us by Emery Lord. This one is so sad. This one made me cry an incredible amount of tears for a long time. It follows a girl whose mother has cancer, and her cancer went away, and then they find out that it has come back, and her mom wants her to go and work at this other summer camp so that she can kind of get new life experience and to make sure that her daughter will really like be okay if anything happens to her. And oh, this was so sad. Emery Lord just really knows how to like tear your heart out. I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad that I read it despite being terrified to do so. Emery's contemporaries are some of my favorites, and this one was definitely no exception. And then I know I'm cheating again, and I'm like adding one more to this list so it's 11 instead of 10, and I'm sorry, but I can't help it. And that is Love, Life, and the List by Casey West. This is now either my first or second favorite Casey West book. I just love it so much. It follows a girl named Abby who makes this list of things that she wants to do in order to get more life experience so that her artwork is better for it. So cute. It made me so happy. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It did all the things. I had all the emotions, and I highly recommend reading this one. It was so good, and it was such a great final read of 2017. So those are all of my favorite contemporary books that I read in 2017. Let me know down below if you read any of the ones that I mentioned, or if there are any of them that you might want to pick up now. That's all that I have for this video, and I will see you guys soon in a new one.